Atomic Blonde, is it just Jason Bourne with a female? Some might think that, where a couple of scenes matched. One where she grabs the seat belt and the car rolls, and the other where she's in the car and it gets T-boned. We've got both of those scenes in Jason Bourne. Other than that, though, understand that she's playing a spy in this movie. Atomic Blonde is a highly trained spy, trained in combat, trained in shooting, martial, all these sorts of things. She's very trained. She's just not some bimbo who's going to go and kick everybody's butt. So she's a trained bimbo. Okay, now, Too Long Didn't Read version is, if you've got a spare couple of hours, yeah, give it a go. I think you'll enjoy it as a movie. Things I didn't like about it. The main thing is the sex scene. Cold War, Berlin Wall, people are trying to kill her from the start of the movie. Last thing you'd be interested in is having sex. That's the reality. Sex scenes slow movies down. Movies have this cadence, have this pacing. We learn new things from every scene. Then we hit a sex scene. We don't learn anything new from a sex scene. Coming together, fade out, like in Top Gun Maverick. Come together, fade out, fade back. It's morning. Okay, we know they did it. The movie pacing continues. If you show the sex scene, we've got a pacing, come together, and now we've got this just garbage sex thing going on that's not needed. We don't need to see it. We don't learn anything new. It's just garbage until it ends. And whatever happens after it ends, if there's discussion, now there's something new. But in the meantime, it's nothing. It's just degenerate sex scenes for no reason that doesn't progress the story. There's no movie that's enhanced by such a sex scene. Knowing the sexual preferences of any character in an action movie is useless. I call these mindless violence movies. They're mindless because we're not learning anything philosophically to enhance the mind, so they're mindless, and they've got a lot of violence in them, so they're mindless violence to me. Action movies, if you want. Now, they're not needed. You can take them all out. The sexual preferences of any character, not needed to be known. We don't need to know if they even ever have sex. They could be all sexual. They could be all pansexual. It doesn't matter. It doesn't enhance any of the characterization of any of the characters. It's got nothing to do with any of their motivations. It's just a waste of time to push anything like that in. And if it is, it's just a sexual agenda being pushed into a movie, in my opinion. So the sex scene, no good. It could be done. The second thing that I didn't like, one scene was she comes in off the street into a bar. She's just walked in, goes to get a cigarette, and someone who's already in the bar lights it. It's a Russian spy. They have a couple of words. Then a French woman spy comes up behind the Russian and says something like, "I'll leave you alone for 3 minutes," and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, she was with the Russian. And as that conversation ensued, it's like, no, apparently she was with the blonde girl. But the blonde girl just walked in. The whole scene was just stupid and just seemed to be totally unnecessary. Okay, now the French woman, she made a threat to a spy, an English spy who she knows is in cahoots with the Russian spy and knows has killed people. She made a threat to that person. Then she started walking around her apartment in underwear and hid her own gun. Then put headphones on so she couldn't hear anybody coming. Now this had to be a plot stupidness to take place so that he could break into her apartment and kill her. Because if all she did, she knew the guy was going to come after her. If all she did was sit there with some clothes on and a gun in her hand in her bedroom, she would have heard the guy coming a mile away, and as soon as he's walked in the door, just shot him. But no, it had to be this convoluted, I'm so stupid, I'm a spy, but I've just become so incredibly stupid, I'm going to put headphones on and walk around in my underwear so I've got nowhere to put a gun, and I'm going to hide my gun from myself anyway. That seems so stupid. Okay. Barring those three main things, I did lose track a couple of times about which side of the Berlin Wall any of the characters were on. I lost a little bit of track in that. There's one or two other little nitpicky things. I'm not going to mention those. Now we'll talk about the fight scene. 10-minute fight scene, link down below. And I do recommend watching that. If you haven't seen the movie and all you want to see is this fight scene, watch the fight scene, link down below. It goes for 10 minutes. It appears to be roughly no cuts in it, like a one-take scene. Obviously there are cuts in it because we need to add makeup and disheveled clothing as the scene progresses. But barring that, we have the 150-pound woman taking on guys. So, is it reality? Well, yeah. She uses a firearm. Fantastic. You grab someone's arm and then you shoot them. They are injured. She knows she can't punch as hard, so she's using elbows and knees, which is very, very good. Watch out for what I call the Casey fighting style. Casey was the fighting style used for Batman and Mission Impossible and things like that, and that is the arm up onto the head, not the boxing thing, but the arm onto the head to block any fights coming. You'll see she does it, and you'll see one of the Russian guys does it too when she's trying to elbow him. He puts the arm up onto the head like that to block it. And watch out for it in other movies too, things like the Reacher series and things like that as well. And of course, Tom Cruise's Reacher movie. You'll see him do that. And also in Mission Impossible when he's got the tube up his nose and he's fighting like that. Okay, now, so she uses weapons, she uses position, elbows and knee strikes, fantastic. She uses her body weight and momentum to her advantage. So when a dog attacks you, the dog goes all in, 40, 50 kilo dog jumping at you, you're kind of not really going to stop it. The whole dog is going in. And when she does that and she tries to position a guy, she's not running straight at the male trying to rugby tackle him. She comes off to the side, grabs him and turns. Now, if a 150-pound woman comes at you and just grabs you from the side to go running past you, but grabs you as she goes, you're going to go off balance because you can't brace for that. You just can't brace for sideways movements and going backwards. We're not very good at that. So she does that brilliantly. When she does a couple of throws, again, these are known throws. These are known martial moves that are legit. If someone grabs your arm, if they grab your arm and they lock in and they drop down, you're going to drop down. It doesn't matter how heavy they are, 150-pound woman dropping down, you'll go down because it's just too much momentum. So she uses that to her advantage as well. So those sorts of things are more legitimate. When she gets hit, the impacts are greater than when she hits them. And as the fight goes on, people get tired. Their moves become sloppy and more tired. The guy she stabs, he's starting to get faint, so his moves are like starting to slow and he's tired. She's tired. When she runs out of weapons and she needs an advantage because she's not the Hulk or anything, she's using things in her hand to give her advantages other than just a fist and raw power. So these things I liked in the fight. They were legitimate. Grabbing something at hand to use it as part of what you're fighting, yeah, totally legit. Getting a little bit of assistance during the fight, totally legit. There might be a couple of little questionable things that you'll see in it, but by and large, when you expect that this is a very highly trained individual in combat arts, and then, yeah, and it's a movie, and if we can accept that James Bond can do a bunch of bull, then we have to accept that this is like a more legitimate ability that she has as well. So, which I liked. So the fight scene's pretty good. And other scenes and things in the movie are really awesome as well. Now, there's no thematic music going on in the fight scene. There are songs that do play intermittently throughout the movie, and sometimes I think they're just way too loud and inappropriate, and they kind of wreck the feel. I think could have been done something differently, but whatever, they are there. So overall, 2 hours. If you've got to spare a couple of hours, give it a look. If you don't, you just want to see the fight scene, links down below, give that a look. But overall, yeah, do the old 1, 2, and give the movie a go if you've got a spare couple of hours.